Hey, I'm Empress Rose, and welcome to our collective Oracle and Tarot reading. And just a big thank you to all the words of encouragement lately and the donations via Square and YouTube and Cash. Thank you so much. It's been beautiful to receive these blessings. I'll give a little update at the end, but for now, let's get started. We're going to start off with Oracle deck, which is the Dreamscape Oracle. We've got one on the floor. The silence. Okay. I mean, like, what can I say about the silence? That's where we're coming from. We're coming from, I don't know. I guess the only thing I can think of is we're talking about maybe somebody you haven't talked to for a while, or someone who's been very silent in your life. Also meditation, usually, oftentimes in silence. That's really funny. Not a lot I can say about that. We'll see how it emerges, but the silence, a secret kept. And not necessarily a secret, but like a secret thought, a secret idea, ideas you're not talking about or someone's not talking about, ideas, thoughts they're having, unspoken. Okay, well, we're going to stop there. All right, this one on the floor, mimicry. Something's not as it seems. It's like, come here, scout. So it's sort of like a mockingbird here, like it has, it's a crow, it's the Urban Crow Oracle, but it's learned to mimic something to get what it wants. It looks like it just wants attention. It's really fascinating. Mixed with the silence card, it's very interesting. Maybe someone just looks like they're being quiet, or something looks very different than what it is. And it has to do with like not talking, not hearing from someone, maybe a secret. It's a little confusing. Something is looking like something else, and it's kind of confusing here. What is going on? This doesn't look right. Like maybe when someone's like not talking, like there's a couple different ways we can not talk to people. We can not talk to people so that we can have some space to gather our thoughts. We can also not talk to people as a form of, it's actually a form of verbal abuse, to punish them or to prove a point or something like that. Like, so, but whatever is going on here, it's not what it looks like. And, oh, it also reminds me of like people that know what words to say, the right words to say, even though they don't mean those words. They've just learned the right words to say. They can say, I'm sorry. They don't mean it. They have no intention of taking, actions to repair anything. They're just saying something. So something has this silence looks like something it's not. Maybe you think someone's not talking to you and they're not talking to you. They're just not. Or maybe someone is not talking to you but saying they're not. Yeah. All right, let's move on. Whoa, survival, release, stability, battle, territory. Well, I like the stability sitting here in the middle. This can talk about home, your home life. It's just I'm going to rearrange these because it just is such a, no, I'm going to talk about them in the order that they came out. Okay, so survival, feeling stuck, feeling trapped in survival mode. We're just getting by. We're getting here from moment to moment. There can be a fear of movement because to move is to open yourself up, right? In boxing, every time you make a punch, you're opening up an area to be punched, right? So when this is a standoff between a fox and a crow. So I guess that's more what I'm seeing here is the standoff energy. Maybe this is something that you have talked about with someone and then you're not talking about it right now, but it's not, there's maybe a misunderstanding, or it looks like It's confusing. I guess that's all I can say about this silence and this mimicry. It's confusing. And then, so this survival is sort of just this, like, I would say a freeze. You know, we have the fight, flight, or freeze mode, or fawn. But this is freeze mode. This is just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I feel frozen. I don't know what to do. I don't know which way to turn. Everything seems risky. It could be to talk about this seems risky. To not talk about it also could be risky, because then we open ourselves up to misunderstandings, right? So there's a sense of, and then just this fear of movement, this being pinned down. These are an evenly matched set of wits here. The fox and the crow, or the raven, very smart birds. The raven's the apex species of birds, but one of the, you know, the top evolution of a bird, but like just super intelligent, super capable. So the fox and this crow, which is in the same family, but maybe not considered the apex, but they're evenly matched. So it's like there could be something going on in your environment that it just feels you're just not sure you should move, and or which direction to go or which move, because there's just this sense of being pinned down and trapped in survival mode. Not a lot of places to go, not a lot of moves to make here that aren't also going to open you up to risk. So there's a risk averseness here. I'd say Four of Pentacles, a risk averseness. But there's a release here. So there's like this, well, it's almost like, I feel like this one gets abandoned in this survival mode. Like they're stuck here, and these ones are like, okay, fine, do your thing. We're going to move on. We're going on. You can stay here stuck in survival mode. You could move on with us. But I also see or feel more a reading of letting go of that fear, releasing that fear and leaving it behind. And maybe it's a part of you that also has to be left behind. So this other part of you can move on, but it's almost like having to the part of you that is being risk averse, the part of you that is afraid, there is something there about leaving part of yourself behind in a way. Like maybe you've already done this, and I can't speak to whether it's psychologically healthy or not psychologically healthy. It's just leaving a part of yourself behind so that you can just move forward. So like this just gets like, okay, this stalemate has to come to an end, and we leave someone or even yourself behind because the stalemate is too much. You're just going to have to release that part of yourself and release whatever's keeping you in this stalemate, in this stuck, trapped situation. And like, it's almost like a part of your subconscious stays there to deal with it, but you have to move on. It's either the circumstance or something like this. This stalemate can only go on for so long before you both run out of food, right? So it's this leaving, and I just want to say what seems to be coming in here is like leaving the part of you that's afraid, that is being overly cautious, or doesn't think you can handle or manage something, leaving that almost in a safe place in your subconscious to let your subconscious kind of work on it and unravel it and figure it out. Like this one's still very focused on the situation that they're in, on that fear situation. And there's just like, and maybe it's just for a time period where you're like, I have to drop this problem. Maybe it's a problem that you're thinking about a lot, and there's a sense of like, we're gonna have to just let go of that for now. You know, maybe you've got to go do something or something like that, and it just isn't gonna work for you to be obsessing over this the whole time or whatever, but you got to drop it and move on. Or other people might be moving on without you because you can't, because you're not able to move here. You're in survival mode, so they're all gonna go without you. It's like a bunch of friends going on a trip without you because you don't have the ability to go. So it's either a part of you, or it is like people have to move on. People have to go and live their lives. And they in this situation, it looks like someone who either doesn't have the means or doesn't have the capacity right now to do anything has to be sort of let go of, or left behind. So something has to get left behind. Then we have stability. So, I mean, I could see a positive reading for this of like, you're just staying home and working on your life and creating more stability for yourself. Like it is this nest, but instead of being this sense of being pinned down and stuck, you're actually building this up now. I think also this could be like leaving this like sort of trapped, pinned down part of yourself, like releasing that part of yourself actually is going to help you create more stability, help you do the work to create a stable foundation in your life, and to really focus on, I'd say, fundamentals, like almost structural fundamentals of your life, where you live, your money situation, your work situation, like just some pillars of your life, and working on those. And releasing this idea that you are stuck, or this even a situation that has kept you stuck and trapped, releasing that so that you can build a foundation for yourself, and moving on, basically it's moving on from survival mode to stability mode, which I often think of those as the same thing, but this is very clearly not. You're moving on. Somebody here is moving on from survival mode to stability mode. And maybe that's the mimicry. Maybe you have survival mode, but you think it's stability mode, but that's not necessarily the same thing. The stability has a longevity to it and a sustainability to it. The stability is sustainable. The survival mode is not, because you're pinned down without anything you need. This is building a life that is full of the things you need, or, I mean, it doesn't have to be that big, but it just is like, and maybe that's where this mimicry comes in, is that survival mode is different than stability mode. Stability mode can be built on, survival mode cannot be built on. That's not a solid foundation. That's an emergency foundation. Like this is the difference between like a life raft and a boat, you know, like a houseboat. Like you can live in a houseboat, you can't live in a life raft. So, and then once you get to the houseboat, you might have to let that life raft go. Yeah, it's been with you for a while, and you might have like bonded with it during your 2 months out at sea, but you're going to have to leave it behind because you don't have room in the houseboat. The houseboat may be, you know, stable and similar in a way, but you're going to have to give up the survival mode for the stability. This, though, surprises me. There's a little kerfuffle here. There's a kerfuffle, and this often reminds me of a kerfuffle that's online, because we have all these people online, or all these crows, watching this unfold, watching this fight break out. Now, why stability leads to a battle? Why would that be? Maybe there's jealousy, maybe there's envy, maybe your stability threatens somebody else. Maybe as you build, as you create, and prepare for your future with a solid foundation, perhaps somebody's threatened by this. Perhaps they like your nest that you're feathering, and they want it for their own kids. Like there's this battle that comes. You might have to fight for your stability. You might have to compete for your stability. It does look like there's like an audience. This is not a private conversation. It's almost like, and maybe in your quest for stability and your desire to build something solid, and this could be in a relationship or something like that, that it's something you have to fight for it. And it could be a little unfair too, that someone's trying to come in and take something, and you may find yourself in a battle you were not expecting. It could even be a fight or an argument in your own home. It could be being recorded. It could be, I think that I would keep that in mind, that this whatever battle you're fighting may end up being very public. And I don't know if you should keep that in mind, or if that, like, you know, decreases your ability to think on your feet. If you're also layering in like what are the visuals here? So it could be that this battle, just this fight, it's just a fight that seems to like break out in your home or around your stability. It could be someone coming back from the past. Maybe someone abandoned you and you had to figure it out for yourself, and you went from survival to being like abandoned to stability, and then they're coming back and saying, well, that's mine, everything you built there is mine, but it's not, because they left. Like, that's not yours. You volunteered to leave. Like, you let me go. So maybe this could also be a past relationship. With the silence, that's what there's something about that, where it's like you were left in survival mode, you finally did your work, you worked through it, you're building now, you're creating, and then something comes in and says, no, that's mine, actually. So this could be even a relationship or something like that. Territorial. Yeah, that's what it is. Territory. It's about like, it's almost like you were left to build your own life or your own business, or you were abandoned in a way to like do this project by yourself, and then someone comes back and says, well, actually that's all mine, but you've been the one doing the work here very clearly. And so there's a fight over, like, is this your success yours, or do you have to also give it to someone else who like released you and was like, oh, no, we're not going to do this anymore, or I'm moving on. It kind of, as this unfolds, I'm seeing a reading where like you were sort of left to fend for yourself here. You've created a lot of stability, and then people want to, then it turns into this territorial fight. Are you going to fight for that stability, or are you like, this is like, the territorialness is interesting because it is an aspect of every species survival. Like, you know, we're talking wolves and their area of hunting, and we can track them. And there's a kerfuffle when those areas start overlapping, or a new wolf comes in and wants to get into or a new pack starts moving into another pack's territory. There is a kerfuffle here. So, and it almost feels very out of the blue. Like you're just working along. You're just building stability. You've come out of survival mode. You've survived some sort of abandonment, perhaps. Perhaps you've had to leave parts of yourself in the back there, and you're just working on being stable. And then boom, here comes a threat to that, and you're going to have to fight it. And it could be coming from someone very familiar, or it could sound like somebody that the silence may look like somebody's moved on. That's what it could be. It could be the silence may look like somebody's moved on, but they most certainly have not. They're still in a fight here. All right, we're going to pull the goddesses now for maybe something else comes through as we start combining cards. But for the environment, and once we pull the tarot, these will get layered in. We have, oh man, this one's hard for me to, Rura Pranili, an Aboriginal goddess. Direction, routines, I see the sun. And then your to-do list, Kali. You're gonna, all right, fight back, bitch. That's what you're doing. Right. Okay. From the bottom of the deck, we're coming into this Eight of Pentacles. This is about work. This is about work you've done, work you've put in. There's something about work here, about money, about your contributions to society, about maybe even your art, your artwork, something like that. I see a cat, like 8 cats. I don't know what that, 8 cats. But this vision that you've had, this work that you've put in towards this vision, that kind of thing. And work, 8 of Pentacles is just very basic, day-to-day work vibes. Here, you know, it's clearly like a scene of somebody in their office in a city, looking out over the city. And it's about something you're working towards, whether that's paid work or just like, yeah, work. About anything you're working on. Past, present, inner landscape. What's at issue? Environment. to-do list and possible. These cards are still pretty new and they're sticky. This is the Artist Decoded Tarot. I have some really mixed feelings about it. I did not realize it was AI generated, and so that's been a little hard for me because I'm, I guess, what we're terming AI vegan. So I don't know. There's a bunch of different ways to look at it, but yeah. But I still love it, and it's really hard to deal with. A lot of conflict, inner conflict there. All right, in the recent past, Three of Swords, some sort of disappointment, heartache, sadness, like finding out this exciting new deck was made with things you're not too stoked about. That's just, I'm not telling anyone else what to think. That's my opinion. So Three of Swords, grief, feeling stabbed in the back, stabbed in the heart. I mean, and usually this comes as pretty surprising, pretty sudden. That could be related to this release, this letting go of this, having felt abandoned, having felt released, let go. It could also be this battle, this heartbreak. You didn't get what you wanted. Somebody didn't get what they wanted. There's heartbreak here in the past. And like I was saying, like there's some kind of, for some of you, this could be an ex, someone who broke your heart, or there's heartbreak involved in this situation. Your current situation, there's a Page of Wands. Somebody here is inspired. It's new. They're surprised. They have a new exciting idea. They're excited. So it's like there was this heartbreak and then now there's like sort of this renewal and like, well, where'd that idea come from? Oh, that's kind of crazy. Oh, that's kind of random. So it's a person here with a new idea. They're excited, they're inspired. Maybe your heartache was their great inspiration, you know? They're like, well, now that they're out of the way, I can charge forward with this. This is so exciting. I get this opportunity now because, you know, I was successfully able to stab them in the back and ruin them. And so now I'm going to jump in and take it. Hopefully it's not that, but that's a storyline that's occurring, especially with this mimicry, someone pretending to possibly be your friend, having a plan. There's like some pretty iffy cards here as far as like the silence, the mimicry, the release, which normally feels really good, does not feel very good in this one, the battle, the territorial. And that's where idea is coming, that someone can be, this could be as a page, this is a lot younger than you perhaps, or very new to this industry or this art form or something like that, but they're inspired and excited. This is though right next to some kind of heartbreak. So either someone's experienced a heartbreak and is now ready to, is now getting inspired for the next phase, or like, okay, well, we've recovered from that and I'm fine now, I'm doing well. Or it's someone that is, your loss is their gain, which I think with the territory card here, there's some possibility for that to be the interpretation. So then we have the Hermit card. This is you right now. You're solo, you're working alone. You're like, and you single, solo. With the work card here, this would be like working by yourself, working alone. Possibly because of this heartbreak, because of something difficult that happened. You are alone, you're working alone. You have your own vision. And so this page could be you too having a vision, but this has an older vibe, a step-by-step vibe. The Hermit doesn't get like the full overview. This isn't the floodlight over the field. This is the person with the headlamp in the field. Like they're just seeing a couple steps ahead. There's no floodlight. It's not broad daylight. There's not a huge vision. There's a sense of step by step I go. And being very focused on your own journey and not really worrying about other people's journeys, not worried about what's going on with other people, not worried about anything. This almost seems like you're really focused on your journey and someone else is, I don't know. Yeah, just with the battle and the territory, it's laying this foundation for this reading of conflict. So And the Hermit has this like older, wiser, more experienced vibe. And maybe this is somebody, maybe you are somebody that in whatever field you work in or whatever, you don't necessarily have to have a big overall vision because you trust yourself with each step. With each next step, you know what to do next, you know what to do next. You're not really looking for the overall vision. But somebody else here does have a new, expansive vision, and it's a little bit unlikely. They could be quite a bit. With the Page sitting next to the Hermit, I'm seeing either an age difference or quite a bit of experience difference. So this could be like the up and coming, and you're just trucking along doing your job. And this is someone that maybe has their eye on something here on your territory, and they're getting an idea. And that, I mean, it's just, there's a territory card next to a battle card. I don't mean to be like negative about it. It could be someone that you, okay, let's see. We could also be someone that you're working with who is young, enthusiastic, or new to your experience. It doesn't have to be young. We can start new jobs at any point in our life and sometimes have to. So this is a new person, but you're showing up as the one with a lot of experience. Like you're showing up. It almost reminds me of like that sitcom about the like cartoon lady. It was almost like she wrote the cartoon Kathy, which is very old, very self-sexist. It was like sexism by a woman though, so that's cool. It was really funny. Kathy loves to shop and gossip and complain about her weight. So anyway, that's what that's reminding me of. And like you're just off here like doing your cartoon and your job, but there's someone coming up possibly on your heels. We do have the work card, so it does seem to be kind of a work reading or something you've been working on. Could be art, something like that. It's always true that there's always people coming up, new people that think they can do it better. Which sometimes they have great ideas. It's a great person to collaborate with. Because there are a lot of great ideas, new ideas, taking your ideas, but taking them a little further in a way that you wouldn't necessarily have thought of. It can be really cool, very beneficial collaboration. But we have the Heartbreak card and the Territory and the Battle card here. So Four of Pentacles. Okay, so this card, but in reverse. Someone's taking risks now. Yeah. There's someone that's coming out of not taking risks mode. It could also be someone who's overly risk averse. Like sometimes Four of Pentacles is just like, let's just pause here, reassess the landscape and the risk situation before we take another step. But this would be dysfunctionally hoarding, someone who might be a hoarder, a situation in which no risks are being taken in a pathological way. But we could also have a situation where risks are beginning to be taken. And so that can also, like if you've been risk averse because of a past heartache and now, or something that happened in the past that was painful and difficult and sudden, and now you're starting to take risks again, you're releasing that pain, you're releasing that suffering, and now you're starting to take risks again. You're starting to put yourself out there more. There's a whole learning curve and a whole pain curve to that, where it's like, whoa, took a risk, that did not work out. Okay, taking another risk. Whoa, get back on that horse. Let's go. We got to keep doing this and keep moving forward. So there's a sense of it's no longer any sort of risk aversion right now is not going to work. You cannot be risk averse. It's either going to be a pathological situation or it's going to be like pathologically risk averse, like in a way hoarding, because hoarding can have a little bit of that anxiety to it of like, well, what would I do without this? How would I, like, how do I live without this? Or what happens if I need this magazine from 2005? How will I deal with that? So, you know, and then when you do a purge, I can imagine the thinking being like, oh, and now I need that magazine from 2005, you know? And so there's a little bit of difficulty with the shift from being risk averse or hoarding or whatever to some sort of more risk, letting go, lightening up, releasing, right? Because if survival and Four of Pentacles are sort of hoarding vibes, here we have someone that's releasing, that's letting things go a little bit, and it could be very scary and not always perfectly executed or successful. In your environment, we have Weber-Pernille, direction. So this can also be routines and just day to day. It's just another day. It's just another day. And that's reminding me of this stability card, this like stability and routines, just another day. You know what direction you're going. Somebody here, some sort of environmental situation, either a person or something like that, just has a very clear direction, is very clear. And maybe that can be stable too, like a clear goal, a clear set of goals that they're building and that they're building to. And here we have temperance. They're also very patient. So there's a step-by-step vibe going on in your environment, which I like because you're the hermit or the Virgo, and you're matching this. This is definitely step-by-step. So the environment is calling for step-by-step, building routines, building maybe even exercise routines, but it's just, something's just going to take the time it takes, and there's no rushing it, there's no rushing through it. What we want to do is build these, and this can be part of that stability, right? Building these routines that really work for us, but it's not a rushing ahead. It's just like, well, you know, if you lift these weights every day, or like I'm in physical therapy right now, so it's like doing that every day, it builds up, and it's literally building my physical stability as well as, so it's like a routine, and it's going to take a while. So this isn't going to be great if I just like using me right now as a metaphor, if I just jump forward and like, well, I'm just going to go for a hike now. No, we have this like process and this time. Yeah, we're headed in that direction, but we're not there yet. So we have to do some work, and it's going to take some time to build that, like literally for me. These two suns are together are looking like this stability, this daily routine stability. And that can be with a relationship too, right? It takes time and energy to like build stability with someone so that we're not all over the map, like rushing forward, then getting hurt feelings and having to recover from that, and then rushing forward. It's just this step by step. And you are in that mode right now, and I really appreciate that about you. You're matching this environment. You're understanding the hermit is step by step, and you're going step by step through an environment that requires step by step progress and daily routines, and it's just going to take the time it takes, and it's part of the stability card, I think. Your to-do list is Kali, endings and beginnings, and this Eight of Cups. This is moving on. Wow. Being called forward. Ending. Well, it is. The Eight of Cups is the ending and beginning. It's like we got here and now we're moving on. It's creating a new beginning, but it's also their back is turned to the cups that they've already collected. They are moving on. They are ending this and moving towards something better. So with this one, it's like they collected the 8 cups that they wanted, right? And they were happy with them. But then one day they're like, well, I've drank everything out of these cups. I really enjoyed that. But I know that I can get the 10 cups. I know that I could be happier. I know that I could be better. I know that this could be happier. I know that I want the other 2 cups. I want the complete set. Now that I know that there's actually 10 cups in this set, I want the complete set. So we're going to leave these cups and we're going to go find the other 2 cups. And so that's a little bit like this, right? The endings and beginnings. We're going to leave this situation to find more, to find a more emotionally satisfying situation. So we're ending something, but we're also beginning the journey to find what it is we're looking for. This isn't a, well, let's just see what we find. This is a quest. You know what you're looking for. You know what you want, or you have an idea. You want the other 2 cups. You want something more fulfilling, more rewarding. This Kali can have like a bit of a drama, right? Look at her. She's like got the arms. She's smashing the patriarchy on the head. She's standing on the earth. She's got flames. She's got swords. It's a little high drama. So a very dramatic, like, moving on, I want more. And maybe you're going to have to fight for it. I don't, it's just this transition from what you have to something more. It's interesting because your environment has this day-to-day plotting. You're showing up as independent, as Following your own intuition, step by step, following your own heart, step by step. So you're showing up like that in a situation that's requiring step by step, but there's like a transition that needs to happen here, and it might be a little dramatic. You might have to put more effort into something that you want. You might have to let something go. Yeah, you might have to release. You might have to let these other 8 cups go so you can find the 2 you haven't had yet, you haven't experienced yet. And this Cali card, just you're in a very undramatic mode right now of just taking steps, doing the work, taking time with something that takes time. But this battle, right, this battle, I said, it feels like it comes out of nowhere. And in some ways, that's what I feel about this Cali card and this moving on card, is some sort of having to fight or work for something, ending something. Maybe it is that release. Maybe it is letting something go so you can move on and get something that you want. Ending something so you can get something better, something that's a better suit for you. So switching something out. Switching something up. Oh, it looks like they're wearing like a graduation outfit. So it's like maybe somebody's moving on, maybe you're moving on to bigger and better things, and it's a big change for you. It's a big shift. Actually, that puts me in mind of, the kids I know heading off to college. Yep, high school's been fun, but I'm going on to the next step. I'm going on to the next thing. And these are big changes, big endings and beginnings, And it's like things are plodding along, and then there's a big change happening. Seems kind of dramatic. I don't know what the battle's about or the territory's about, but I'm not sure that that's part of this big change and this big moving on, moving up, moving on to the next thing. The sort of done with this, moving on, big change. So that's you. That's your to-do list, is making this big change, moving on to the next thing, starting something new, which necessarily closes off a whole cycle. Like, you think about all those changes and shifts that young people go through, like, leaving home and moving to a new town, to go to a new college. It's a huge, massive shift that these people are doing. And like this ending, this is the end of their like childhood. I mean, I'm talking like not everybody does that route, and that's great, but that's good actually. But for those that is like a really good example of what I'm seeing here with this 8 of Cups and this endings and beginnings. 2 of Cups. This is great. Okay. 2 of Cups is, finding and connecting with someone that you really do truly connect with. So maybe a conversation about moving on. This is a lovely conversation. Oh, I love this. I really love this. This coffee tea set, and they're sitting out in the mountains, enjoying each other's company and having a conversation out in these mountains. Looks that's really funny. It almost looks like they're by a lake too. This is just personally funny. It looks like they're by a lake too. So that's really cute and sweet. And there's this deep connection related to this beginning. It's like somebody's there, somebody's either with you there, going with you there, able to talk. You can talk to them, you can tell them things, but there's this beautiful connection happening. Oh my God. It's the 8 of Cups, and you find that, and then the 2 of Cups. So now we have the 10 of Cups. You're going to find what you're looking for, whether that's greater connection, more relatability, more, that's so funny, because this whole time I'm like in the 8 of Cups, and you're going in search of the 2 of Cups, and here you have the 2 of Cups. You're really relating to someone. You are deeply connecting with a person. This may make somebody else feel very insecure. This could be a deep friendship that threatens some sort of territory or something like that. But mostly in the moment, I'm just seeing something beautiful. It's just that this battle and territory happened to fall underneath this. So you're connecting with someone in chaos, perhaps, connecting through chaos or within the chaos, but it's this beautiful. And I see these like pages, like letters, or they're not pages. I think they're meant to be something else, but they look to me like books or letters or something, and there is a deep connection. You know that there's more possible here and you go in search of it, and I think you find it, but you find it in a person. I'm not sure that's exactly what you were thinking. But you deeply connect with this person in this search for more. So there's a really beautiful deep connection here. So maybe that is the Page of Wands here. Maybe it is someone new with a bunch of new ideas and a bunch of beautiful thoughts and a bunch of inspired ideas. And you showing up as a hermit here, connecting with them. It could be a little intergenerational. You might find, if you're younger, you might find a professor that you can really relate to. If you're the older person here, you might find a student you can really connect with, a mentor situation where you're like, yeah, this is cool. This is, I see a younger part of myself here. So, yeah, it could be a mentor-mentee. There could be some amount of creative work together or something like that. And we do have the work card here. So I'm going to pull one more card to kind of close it off. I really love this Two of Cups. I think that's something to really look forward to, just a deep connection with someone. I can see a mentor-mentee situation. I can see a deep friendship. Yeah, it's really interesting. We go from Three of Swords, this heartbreak, into this deep connection with Two of Cups. That's a beautiful transformation and change. All right, and then closing it off, Sasquatch. And look, you guys, I wore my Sasquatch ring today, my Sasquatch mood ring. If you hear a Sasquatch sigh, this is about somebody having lost some faith here. And maybe that's who you're connecting with, because this person has a big vision, and there's a sense of losing faith or being discouraged by something. And the Sasquatch is like, hey, this world's full of magic you haven't met yet, you haven't seen yet. And maybe you're meeting Sasquatch out in these mountains. But there's a magical thing that wants you to believe in magic and in visions and in connection, in deep connection. Maybe this is a connection. Maybe you don't believe that this connection is possible, especially if it's with a specific person. Maybe you don't necessarily believe that that's possible, but you'd have to change. You'd have to switch it up. You'd have to go towards something in order to know that, right? So we have this, if you hear a Sasquatch sigh, please try to have faith in magic, in other people, in the unexpected. It makes the magic very sad when you don't believe in it. So there's a certain sense of that manifestation theory here of believe it and you will see it. Believe in it. Try to keep having faith in beautiful, magical connections. All right, I hope that was helpful for you. Thank you so much for joining me with this. And thank you again for all of the lovely encouragement. I did have a pretty upsetting setback this past week, and it's been hard to recover from that. But hopefully that's all gotten cleared up, and I can still feel it, but I think it's on its way to getting better. So anyway, yeah, so I'm a little I don't know. We're going to keep doing this as much as we can, but obviously, I'm sure you would agree, I have to put my health first. So anyway, love you all. Thanks for being on this journey with me, and very much appreciate it. Thank you.